Hello.
Hello, Louise.
Okay, so first of
Hello,
all, before we do anything else, we're just going to go and check and see if everybody can hear us, because we always have this thing going on. My laptop is going today, so I just want to make double sure that it's not a problem. And then we're going to dive right into a really interesting topic, which is about pain and about whether it is psychosymptomatic or whether it is real, and to discover the whole symptoms behind it and the systems behind it. And I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this.
Louise, I can hear quite a lot of interference, but can we ask everyone else? Can they hear nicely?
Yeah, let's check. Hi, Norma. I hope that my fan is not interrupting. My laptop's fan is on. So if you can just let me know about that. I know I can always depend on Norma in the front row to tell her.
Hello, Norma.
Okay. All right. Okay, so while I'm waiting there for Norma to answer, then we can start talking about this. Okay, so Antoinette, do you have experience of weird pain symptoms? Have you made a connection that there might be any links to emotional issues in your pain symptoms, your body?
Yes. I have a lot of physical stuff. Can you hear me? Yeah. A lot of physical stuff going down for most of my adult life. And a very long time ago, I figured there was a mind-body link, but I only really scratched the surface of it until I got sick. And then, of course, I started on the journey of healing myself on a very deep level and rewiring my brain and reprogramming my subconscious. And since then, I've been so incredibly aware of how profoundly deep this link is between mind, body, and soul. And in fact, I started doing scientific research, as you know, in psychoneuroimmunology, the proper mind body science. And yeah, I've been for 3.5 years really focusing around that as my healing mentally, physically, and spiritually, actually. And I still experience, can you hear us? Slight noise, however, not too bad.
Okay, we'll keep on checking. Okay.
So,
Hi.
Louise, one thing that really
Yeah.
yeah.
Just want to say hi. Okay. Sorry, Antoinette. I just want to put my volume down a tiny little bit here, and then I'm going to give attention. Now, so then we've got all the tech systems. Okay, then better if the volume is a little bit down, and then I can.
Not too loud. Is it too loud?
It's a bit loud on my side, so I've just turned it down a bit. Okay, so so there's the whole big story. Okay, so I'm trying to translate what you're saying so that I can understand that I'm on the same page as you. So there's the whole big story of how the body and the mind is interconnected, and the links which are between our sicknesses and our body symptoms and what's going on in our mind. And so that's really the enormously juicy topic that we're going to be addressing in our summit, which is coming up soon, which I don't know if people know about it, but we'll be posting about it regularly in the next 2 months, because it's in April, right, Antoinette? So we've got this very big, enormous topic, and we would like for everybody to really be on board and keep on following us, and because we're going to have some amazing experts. But in the meantime, what we want to do tonight is we want to bring attention to a very small part of us, which is something that all of us can be feeling inside our lives all the time, because now I'm talking about small, believable pains. Sometimes they're huge, but most of the time it's a small, believable pain that the body is giving us. And a lot of us have got a back pain, a headache, stomach pain. Strange enough, one of the things that are quite regular is also a urinary tract infection, which is, it's an infection, so it shouldn't be linked to it. But it's weirdly enough one of the things that are very often linked to this whole body-mind connection about the pains that the body can give us. So I want everybody to pay attention and start to become a little bit aware that what you are experiencing in your life might just be related to something else. And when I thought about this topic today, I think I found some sort of connection and a revelation for myself, something that I've missed over the last few months. So I think we're going to talk about that too. Okay. So if you're watching afterwards, please just comment. We'll come back and we'll check the comments. And everybody else, please keep on commenting and go and give us a like there in the top. We love that. And we'll keep on coming back every now and again, and we will come and check the comments.
Yeah, it would be lovely to know who's here and where you're from. So let us know.
Yeah, and today we want a lot of questions. We want you to tell us if there's something, or tell us what kind of pains you're experiencing, because I can guarantee you, when you've listened to a few of these stories, you are going to go and start going, oh, maybe. And that can bring you immense and immediate relief. Okay, so where do we start?
Louise, I'd love you to start by explaining what you mean, because it's the first time this has come my way, this concept to you, that those pains are distraction, to distract us from doing deep emotional processing. That's something I've never read anywhere else.
Okay, so what it really is, and this has been very well researched. It's not my field of speciality, but I did come across it, and so I've been really interested in it. I've been applying it a lot on myself, with my clients, because what happens is that the brain has got a job to keep you alive and to keep you breathing. It's not there to make you happy. It's not there to make you process stuff. And especially if you've had damage happening at a time when you're very vulnerable, very young, or in pain, or in deep trauma, then you are not able to process your shock or your grief or your loss properly at that time. Now, the brain doesn't know that you can have resources and that you can get help and that there's exercises that it can do. It only knows one thing. It is supposed to protect you. You have to keep on breathing. And all the energy that it can will go to keep you alive. Not for this emotional stuff. That's like really, really, in the matter of surviving, the brain ranks it nowhere. It's just very low down. What is important is keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. Yeah, stay alive. Pump the blood and breathe. So it will, if it notices that you are paying a lot of attention to something which is taking away energy from its life systems, it will habitually distract you from it. Now, one way which a lot of us will be able to relate to, because it happens to so many people, is it takes away your memories. So say something happens, a lot of people come to me and say, I can't remember anything about my childhood. I know something happened there, but I can't really say. So it happens to a lot of little girls who's been sexually molested that they're really not sure, but they sort of think that it happened. Because at the time when it happened, especially if you're small, or say in the middle of a trauma, you don't have enough resources to help you. So it takes it away by letting you forget it. So that's just one very obvious way that the brain is helping you to just survive. But then, and this doesn't happen when you're small so much, unless say you've fallen and you've grazed your knee, and this was the only time you have ever gotten attention, then you will then build in a system in which you will then have an injury, and it will become your way of getting attention. And so I've got an example of that, which was after my mother got divorced. She was kicked out of the church by the by the elders, and she really didn't have family nearby. She had no support system, and so she used to go to the doctor every single month, once a month, and that was the days when you could still sit there for a long time. And he used to let her sit there and talk to her and cry. She would cry, and he would give her some sedatives, and off she would bend for the next month. But that is where her pattern started of being a hypochondriac, because that is the place where she got affirmation. And it's the same as you could quite easily fall when you're small, graze your knee, like I said before. And if you nobody notices you for anything else, but they notice you when you're sick, they can you're going to keep on looking for affirmation through being sick. Okay, so that making sense so far?
There's a lot of noise. Are other people hearing all the noise, or just me?
You're in the studio, so I think it'll probably be worse. Let me go check quickly.
If it's just me, it's fine. I can certainly navigate it.
Oh, this is so interesting. We're going to go back to the comments just now. Okay, so exciting. I'm going to share just now, because otherwise I forget where I was. Okay, so now we're still on the same thing, which is the body wants to distract us, they want to keep us alive, and now we're all grown up, and we have an emotional trauma. So whether it's an old trauma or a new trauma, maybe it's a new trauma that's making something surface from when you were small, or maybe it's something that you've never addressed in the past. And I'm going to give you two examples of what I have noticed with my clients. So I've had somebody coming in, and he sat down, and we start talking. He says, "Oh, the knee," and then I ignored it, and then we talk a little bit deeper, and then just as I'm getting to the pain point, he says to me, "Oh, it's my knee. I don't know what's going on with my knee." So he literally stops me before I get to the pain point. And I ignore it again, but I'm already noticing it. So I said, "Okay, fine, it's fine. We'll deal with it just now. Let's just answer me on this thing." "Yeah, with my knee." And so at that point, I'm saying, talk to your body. Tell your body, you're now a grown man. You are not a child anymore. You have support. It is safe for you to work through this issue. I know this issue feels like something very big, but say to your body, I have support. I don't need you to protect me with pain anymore. And this is the moment when I get the crazy, "Are you crazy, woman?" Look, but then if somebody trusts me enough, and they actually have that conversation out loud, and it's like, repeat after me. "Thank you, subconscious, for protecting me. But I don't need you to do that anymore. I'm not a child anymore. I can handle my feelings. I can process my feelings. Thank you for protecting me all these years. But I don't need you to distract me with pain. I don't need this knee pain anymore." Literally, that's what I do. So any of you can go and try that. And so we continue talking, and 10 minutes later I ask, "How's the knee?" "Oh, no problem." So I've seen this with various different kinds of pain, and it helps every single time. But there's another thing that happens, and that is people falling asleep. So it's a form of narcolepsy. So again, the brain distracting you. So people suddenly start yawning, or I've had clients say to me, "I'm so sleepy right now. I don't know if it's this comfortable couch." No, it's not the couch. It's your brain telling you you are sleepy so that you can't focus on the deep work that you're doing. Same conversation. "Thank you, dear subconscious. I don't need you to distract me. I am not sleepy now. I'm ready and willing to work on this. I have support and I'm not a child anymore. Thank you. But right now, I prefer that you don't try to take me. I want to do this work. Sleeping is gone, no more yawning. And it like really, really happens like this, and it happens more than once. So, any questions, Antoinette? Anything you want to add to this?
Why physical pain? So are you saying that there is a pain in my body that is not actually, it feels real, but it's just a distraction? So when I start working on the emotion, the pain will pass.
It's called PIPS, PIPS, psychologically induced pain syndrome. So if anybody wants to go and look it up. But basically what happens is the body finds a pain that is believable to you. And so I'm going to use myself as an example now, just now in a minute, because I'm very well aware of this stuff, and I think I've been caught. I suspect I have. So the body finds something that resonates with you. So, and that's why backache is a very believable pain. A lot of people out there have got backache, but so is a stomach ache, and so is headaches. So it can be anything. And so, I had these migraines all these years, and I don't know if any of you have seen the interview that I had with Jeanette. I mean, she really had the interview with herself because I didn't have connection. But she basically cornered me one night, in the middle of the night, and said, sit there and tell me what you are gaining from having this migraine. And I was fighting her for about an hour. I was not gaining anything. I don't want this migraine. I don't want it. And eventually I figured out that I was at that stage very unhappily married, and I wasn't getting support unless I had a migraine. Ding, 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 ding. So this thing that I really didn't want to have, this migraine, which was making my life hell, had a benefit. And so I have learned how to breathe through it and how to apply meditation techniques. And so I have gotten rid of a very big part of my migraine. The rest I had to go to the chiropractor for. But the psychological part, I understand it. And I had to talk to my brain. I had to say, thank you, brain. I don't need this anymore. I'm a grown-ass woman, and I have a voice, and I can ask for support. And then I would walk away and go and say, please, will you support me?
Can I ask you a question now?
Yes.
Very interesting, because in my childhood, I got absolutely no attention. In fact, the opposite, when I was in pain or sick. And yet I've had this pain sick syndrome my whole life. And I certainly never gained any attention from it. I got negative attention, although is that attention? So why would I do it then as an adult?
Negative attention is better than no attention. If you have an enormously deep craving for attention, which all of us have if we don't get it, you would go for whatever scraps you can get. And if you get it from having some sort of sickness, that alone, Antoinette, is enough to get you to a point where you have cancer. That alone, that one thing alone, is so big. Because that craving is part of it.
But I never got attention. Even when I got cancer, I never got the attention from the person I wanted it from. But are there other reasons you would have?
Antoinette, stop a minute there. Wait. When you had cancer, you had a lot of attention. It doesn't matter if you don't get it from the person that you wanted it from. You still got attention. So just really think about that. Can
there be other reasons you have pain and illness other than wanting attention?
Look, I'm talking about the wanting attention thing because it's something that you brought up, and it's very valid because I it's actually, I've written about it in my book, about one of the chapters. It's there about the one person who was the middle child and not noticed and so well behaving, and the one sibling was a juvenile delinquent and the other one was an overachiever, and the middle one only got attention if she fell and scraped her knee. And yes, so and then became seriously ill. And so there is definitely a link there, and I do want people to be aware of it because it's a very dangerous way to live your life. And if you are constantly not noticed, but you are noticed when you are sick. And did you hear what I just said? I had migraines because I didn't have support. I had migraines. I wasn't noticed. I was invisible until I had that migraine. It is enormously dangerous. It is the way to make yourself sicker and sicker. So just be aware of it. Everybody must just be aware of it. Okay, so what was the other thing that I was talking about before we went off this direction? Okay, so we're talking about the ways in which it presents. And so I was talking about back pain and headaches and stuff like that, which is very believable pains. So this is the action in which it happens. So the pain comes up. Whether it is, no matter what the old reminder is, there's an old reminder or somebody like me going in, scratch, what's that pain? Give it to me so I can help you work through it. No. Body's saying, no, we're not doing this. So it can be that, or it can be a recurring problem. Like in my case with the migraines, it was like really my biggest problem. My biggest practical problem was the fact that I didn't get support, I wasn't noticed, I wasn't seen, and unless I had a migraine. So it's subconsciously, because we never ever do this on purpose. Your brain makes the connection. It lets you have the pain that you can believe in. But if you go read anything about PIPS, the pain syndrome, you will see it's not like you're imagining the pain. You're actually experiencing the pain. So the body helps you to create the pain. It's measurable. If you get linked up to electrodes, you actually will measure the pain because your body gives you the pain. It actually creates the pain that is believable for you. And you can have all kinds of symptoms, and you're going to keep on having them as long as you believe them. Okay, so I'm sure by this time you've got a lot of questions. So, any more from you, Antoinette?
Well, let's look at the questions, Louise.
Okay, all right. Because if I haven't explained it adequately, then you guys must just tell me, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about it some more. But if you can just become aware to start with, then I'm very happy. Okay, so let's look through quick. This is so going to be so good. Okay. Right. Yeah, that vacuum, Esther, that vacuum noise, that's my laptop. All right, this is Esther. Okay, right. Okay, guys. Okay, this is Tashni. Now, Tashni, I also do want to tell you guys, I want to give Tashni a shout out because she is. Tashni, what's your title? Can you put it in for me? I don't know, I've gone blank now. Tashni's a doctor, and she's now. Tashni, you're going to have to help me out. Sorry, I'm normally a bit more sharp in this, but I'm not very sharp apparently. Okay. Okay, come next one. Always thought that these paints are pointers. Where did it go to now? Yeah, okay, so Esther, okay, all right, so Esther, she's got trouble understanding. I don't quite know. Look, the only way I can stop my laptop fan to stop is if I switch off my laptops. I'm really sorry, guys. I can't do anything about it right now. Unless Antoinette is volunteering to do a dance or something so that I can run and go and get my fan, my small fan.
Maybe she means she doesn't understand what you're saying, not that
No,
it's
I
too
know
noisy.
that. No, I'm talking about this, about the vacuum noise.
Oh,
Okay,
the
so,
vacuum noise, yeah.
hi, hello, Shannon. Actually, I'm Jane. Okay, and Jane and Shannon says I must talk louder. Okay, and I'm going to try my best. All right, and there's some migraines. Okay, Esther. Okay, so your migraine stopped. I'm not putting the two and two together. Oh, so you got negative attention as a child. Yeah, that's a nice connection. I was just feeling too much. Okay, now Tashni is integrative medical practitioner. I hope I'm right about it, Tashni. And so she's just started her practice. So if anybody wants a real life medical doctor who understands about the body mind connection, Tashni is my superstar. I'm so proud of her. I can't tell you guys how proud I am of her. And she understands it from the inside out. So if anybody in the area needs, that's my shameless plug for Tashni. Okay. Yeah, this is
Interesting.
yes, yeah, and so I think this is one of the big reasons why Tashni has gone this direction because she understands us. You can correct me if I'm wrong. There, I did get it right. So thank you for that.
It's great that you're here.
Yeah,
So
and
can you explain to me, you, Louise, and maybe Tashni, so now what she said, so why am I getting pain when it's to stop me from feeling deep emotions? That's the topic I'm interested in. Is that why I'm getting pain?
it's
I don't believe I
distracting
do
you.
it for attention.
No, yeah, well, okay, me and you will talk about that one a bit. Nobody wants to know this stuff, okay? But did you hear when I say I had migraines because I didn't have support and I wasn't noticed? And nobody does it on purpose. It's just when we find something that works, no matter how warped it is, we'll keep on doing it and we don't even know we are doing it. That's why we have this conversation, because none of us know. We just know there's this pain and it's terrible and it's overwhelming and I can't deal with anything else right now. And the body goes like, yes, don't deal with anything else. Keep on breathing and keep on pumping blood and don't come and mess around here with my life functions. Okay, so concentrate on that pain. Now, so it's really just a distraction because the subconscious is completely convinced that we are not able to handle emotional pain. And that's why there's so many mechanisms to hide emotional pain from us. There's not just one, there are many. It's disassociation, so many dissociative disorders, amnesia, this, and the lighter version of it is just, I don't remember. And then, of course, there's this pain thing. And it's very well documented. So anybody wanting to know more, go look up PIPS, PIPS, okay? Because it's very well documented and even researched by neuropsychologists who measures it. It's not in your imagination. You're not imagining it, you're not doing it on purpose, you're actually feeling it. But when you realign your mind and you step into your own adult self and you refuse to be part of that cycle anymore, and and you take charge of it goes away. And it's really important to note that we believe it. So to get to that point between, I believe in this pain. My knee is sore, why wouldn't you believe it? My head is sore, why wouldn't you believe it? I have a urinary tract infection, I know what it feels like, of course I'm going to believe it. Why would we not want to believe it? It feels believable. But start looking at the connection. Is there some emotional pointer at this very moment that's trying, that I don't pay attention to the minute when I focus on the pain? It takes my focus away from my internal pain point, because it gives me something I can believe in. Does that answer your question, Antoinette? I hope I'm taking over this now. Okay, let's see what Jane says. Okay, this is a little bit too wide to answer. And I also do want to tell you that I have worked with clients where they have been told by the doctors that it's all in their mind. And so I always keep both options. Is it all in your mind because this is real? Or are you really sick and the doctor just don't believe you and is writing you off? Because that also happens. And I'm an example of that, because I've had thyroid symptoms for years and years and years, and zero tests that was showing it. And it wasn't until I've got a thyroid cyst barely visible right here. It wasn't until it became visible that I was actually believed, and the tests still didn't show it. And so now I've got evidence that I really do have an underactive thyroid, and that it's sluggish. But before that, I wasn't believed. So that does happen. So I can't really answer that question for you. What I can say to you is this: become aware that pain can be a cry for help. Become aware that she may be going through some psychological trouble. And you will know from other signs. You will know if somebody doesn't talk suddenly, or if they get grades are slipping, or if they suddenly don't want to see their friends anymore, or if they become quiet. Behavior changes. You will know, if you pay attention, that there's been behavior changes. And of course, it's really, our children are not stupid. You can talk to them. You can actually say, come sit here and tell me, is this something that's bothering you? Like, how's your day been? How's your year been? How's your friends? How's this? You can talk to them, give them the time and attention. That's not going to go into the waste paper basket. It's going to be a positive anyways. So, and let us know how it happens, and nobody can do this over Zoom. So the last one I looked at. So let me look here. Yeah, that's not me working with one hand to the background here. I'm sorry, Jane, but it is my laptop. Oh, okay, it's better on the cell phone. Okay, thanks for that. So if anybody's having real problems, change over to your computer. I'm hoping it's going to go away.
So Louise, what's the solution?
Okay, let's go through the comments, and then we'll talk about the solution.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So migraines, spotting my vision, but no home. Okay. Well, the question is, Esther, is it distracting you? That's the question that you have to ask for yourself. Okay. Tashni is making a very valid point. Yes, all of us, or a lot of us, is subconscious. We don't do it on purpose. It's not something that we want to do. It's just our body, our subconscious being more clear than us. Okay, right, so we pay attention to that. Okay, Joan says she understands. I hope you understand not only the topic but also about my vacuum cleaner in the back. Yeah, okay, so this is what I love. Okay, so this is why people need to be looked at holistically,
Yes.
just looking for clinical. Yeah, look for emotional, physiological, contributory factors. Yes, and where somebody actually takes the time to really listen to you and to um, to take time with you. I mean, that's such a big thing to actually take time with you and not just give you the pill. And look, I want to be like, Tasha's a medical doctor. She can give you a prescription. There's nothing wrong with a prescription. But if you have gone over and over for the same thing and nobody has tried to find the reason, whether it's a medical reason or whether it's a psychological reason, if nobody has tried to find the reason and they're just giving you a pill and a prescription, then you are the slave of that pill. But if somebody sits and listen to you and really try and find why, what is really going on here, then you eliminate the problem. You're not just popping the pill. And that's the role of a integrative practitioner. So if you really do have to have antibiotics, you can have it. And with a medical training and all of that, but with the added bonus that, and I know lactation uses different modalities, so you can bring in some of the natural modalities that you want to bring in because you actually believe in them. You don't say it's woo, you believe that there are other things going on which we can use the in the fight against. I don't want to use the word fight. Fight is a hard term. In the quest to get to the bottom of what's going on and to change how our body responds in a more holistic way. Okay, right. So
Can I ask Tashna a question? Or
ask
you?
her. No, ask her. But
So, so if I had I had autoimmune thyroid arthritis, a whole lot of stuff. I had brain scans, nerve ending tests, you name it, years and years of it, and I had doctors constantly sending me home, some of them saying I needed a psychiatrist. I mean, I did get diagnosed with fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis, but eventually I got cancer. So my question is that related? Does this stuff that's kind of not real but feels real, does it eventually become something very real? Because obviously there is an effect on our body, otherwise we wouldn't be feeling the pain. So
yeah, okay. So this whole cancer link is so really interesting. So I think most of you know that I'm a medical technologist, and part of being a medical technologist is going through histology. You have to go and do your time in histology. It's part of one of the subjects that you have to do. And so that's why I'm talking now from a different place. Just from any time you get any kind of sample, any kind of a pap smear or whatever it is that comes past you, and you go and look at those cells, you are going to find cancer cells in your body. The body have got cancer cells in it all the time. Nobody is cancer free, but it's not a reason to be worried about it because it's normal. It's a normal cell that went rogue. Um, so the body is meant to protect you against that because you have got your soldiers, which is your white cells, and various other mechanisms. But your white cells are a very big way in which we get protected against cancer cells. And so our body, when we are optimal, when we take care of ourselves, we are emotionally healthy, we are positive, our body will get rid of these cells. And when we're not doing bad things to it, so we're not smoking and we are not surrounding ourselves with heavy metals, and we're taking care that we're not eating tuna every single day of our life, so stuff like that. So if we take care of ourselves, we don't overburden the body, because the body can be overburdened. You can have cancer simply because you've been or you can have sicknesses, illnesses, because you just have been environmentally exposed to the wrong things. So you can't get past that. You have to do your part on a physical level. But if your mind plays an enormous role in it, and we're definitely going to do more of this in the PNI Summit, because that's going to be such a big part of it. But if you optimize yourself, then your system is able to take out those very normal, abnormal systems all the time. And it keeps on recreating the system over and over and over. So you're optimized to get rid of cancer. And everybody needs to understand that you are optimized to get rid of cancer. And so that's where you've got to start. And for me, the most important thing, which I always do, is I like that visualization. I can't say that. I'm going to give up on that one.
Visualization.
I can't say it tonight. And it's a week since I've had wine, so it's nothing to do with it. So I like Brandon Bays have got wonderful exercises of how you do it, where you actually can picture the white cells going after the cancer cells, and where you can picture it draining out of your body and leaving your body. So there's wonderful exercises like that, but also a positive attitude and taking care of yourself, being healthy, not exposing yourself to the environmental
but you didn't answer. So my question was, does this, if you don't deal with the mind and emotional stuff, because I was eating properly and doing all the rest of the stuff, as you know, but the emotional and the mind stuff, can it at some point trigger something really serious, or was that just a coincidence for me, maybe?
Well,
we don't know, but...
No, I think from all your research with PNI that there's a definite link between it, and that if you don't deal with your emotional baggage, it is going to come in somewhere. You are going to get it somewhere. One of the most common things is IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, is one of the biggest things, and we already by this stage know that our emotions are actually centered in the bowel, and so instead of where we think it is, so we've got all these receptors there, and there's an enormous link, and it's becoming the next big thing. One of these days, all of us will actually be very aware of how we need to take care of our gut, first of all, to make sure that our emotions are right. And look at how many people have IBS, and it's a very believable distraction from our emotions. Antoinette, really, anything that's believable for you, your body is going to pick up. If you like me had a lot of headaches, don't be surprised if it turns into migraines. If you have, whatever it is, if you've had some back pain which was legit, it might become your thing. We all are different. It really is. It really just depends. How much are you suppressing? How much are you squishing? How much are you not paying attention to? How much are you refusing to look at? Because that stuff sits there. The fact that you're suppressing it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means, it's sitting there. It's brewing. It's controlling you because your subconscious knows about it, even if you don't. And so you ask what you do about it. You address your subconscious and you address your pain. And I really want to say, if your pain is so severe that you cannot bear looking at it by yourself, to the degree that you actually need your subconscious to protect you, don't do it by yourself. This stuff can be hectic, but not hectic bad, hectic good. And Some days you're going to need just a little bit of encouragement to get you through. So there's somebody on the other side who's going to say to you, bear with this. It won't kill you. Do this. Sit with it. It won't kill you, because we don't know this stuff. So if you've got really deep emotional pain, please do not do it by yourself. Get somebody to help you. And that's my best thing to say. If you have deep emotional pain, find yourself a professional so that you can be supported through it. Don't do it by yourself.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Okay. You know, Jane, I have been waiting now for the last 6 months, 6 weeks, was it 2 months, for somebody to raise the point of my multifocus. And I keep on, every week I think, nobody's saying anything. We are such polite people in our audience. Okay, so I've got central serous retinopathy, which means I've got fluid between the back of my eye and my retina. And that means I can't go for my eye test. And I'm on the Click glasses and Clicks glasses. And the one pair of glasses is my far, if I need to drive. And if I put the two together, it's my reading glasses. And it's my optometrist who said to me, Louise, you can't do a test now. So just use the two together. And she told me which two to get. And it's working so well. So I've been doing it for a year. So it works really, really well. So I might start a craze here, people. It's very fashionable to have two pairs of glasses if you're not doing it. If you're not doing it, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. Okay, so hands up who has been curious all this time but has just not said anything. Okay, well, let's see the next one. Okay. Esther? Oh, okay. I didn't know that that you were. Yeah, and you know what? If you think about Germany, how many of our homeopathic medicines and stuff is originating there, so I see what you're saying. Hi, Paul. Okay, you can't fool the subconscious. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's a very way. It's an excellent way of putting it. It will always.
Well said.
Yeah. Until you take it out, unpack and solve a psychological issue. Yeah, thanks, Paul. That's really well said.
Yes, very.
Right, so we've got Tashmi again. Mental eventually can become a. So, Antoinette, Tashmi's answering you.
Thank you.
Oh, and look at that. Okay, so our thoughts are energy and create physical problems.
So therefore we can also heal them. I mean, I have healed physical stuff with creative visualization, my mind and energy. It is so powerful. It's almost unbelievable. 20-minute or 40-minute creative visualization can take me from having a knee that I can't go walking with to be able to walk. I mean, I thought it was just me, but now I've been starting to research this stuff, and it really is far more powerful than we know. Hey.
Yeah. So I think that, and this is an excellent answer, because I think what Tashni is bringing out is, you asked, how do we fix this? We fix it by changing, first of all, our thoughts and our outlooks. So we start with understanding. So today we're bringing awareness. So now we become aware, and we can start checking ourselves. We can start noticing our own behaviors, and we can start to ask ourselves, is there a link? So that's awareness, and then we decide that we're going to change our thought patterns, and we're going to change our outlooks. So that, and one way is to understand, like me, instead of having a migraine, I became self-empowered, and I started asking for support. I started saying, okay, fine, you said you would support me, and you said you know what, it's important to you, and here I am, I'm asking for support, so will you support me, please? Okay, yes, and then I get my support. You see, so it's that simple. Open your mouth and ask. Don't have a migraine. And then the last part is that you have to do stuff differently. You can't keep on doing what you do. You can't keep on falling for the pattern. You can't keep on not talking. You have to change something. Whatever symptom you are experiencing, you're not going to change it unless you address it and start doing stuff differently. In my case, very clear example, I had to talk. I had to use my voice to get that attention and support that I needed. Other people have to talk about what's rotting inside, what's causing all these triggers, what's causing all these overreactions, what's causing all the withdrawing and backlashing. So some people have to talk, and a lot of us have to talk through it until it's out of our system. We have to write letters and burn them, and we have to do exercises. And so, but there's a do. There's a very definite do. You can't change it if you don't do stuff differently. And I think the fourth one is get support. The deeper the trauma that you are not wanting to look at, and sometimes we don't even know how deep the trauma is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have hidden it from ourselves so much, we have normalized our abnormal experience to the extent that we are now having happy childhoods in spite of the fact that a father tried to kill his 3 children and their mother. And then we actually pitch up and say, I had a very happy childhood because we blocked that out. It was too traumatic. And that's a true story too. It's also in my book. So read and empower yourself and do those exercises. This book, back pain. Let me just get the whole thing. I'll put the name inside. It's a very short book. Back Pain Forever: The Real Solution to the Back Pain Epidemic, and it's not only about back pain, but Sensei Adam Rostopi. So I'll put it in there. Very short book, very fast to read through. And what's the best, and it's very understandable. What's the best about it? Probably reading it through less than 2 hours. What's 2 hours of life when you're having, like me, a migraine every single day? I had it for 6 years nonstop. What's 2 hours of your life? And then it has these exercises where you can do it. And another very good book that has a lot of exercises is Brandon Bay's, which is about the journey with cancer. So a lot of exercises where you can start using your mind instead of your mind using you. So I'm going to go and look at another comment there. So there. Okay. Yeah, that's true. There are just not enough doctors who understand. Not yet. I think we're moving there. I think we are going to get to it eventually. The more there's a demand for it, the more we'll start to get it. And what's really interesting is that a lot of doctors who are holistic practitioners, like Dr. Mark Hyman, and I don't know if any of you follow Dr. Mark Hyman, but I have the biggest respect for him because he does a really thorough history, but he's also quite open about his own journey to become a holistic medical practitioner, and it started with emotional pain and loss. And for a lot of medical practitioners who goes the holistic way, that is how it starts, by understanding that there's more going on than just what's going on in the textbooks. And even, a lot of these doctors have to overcome the prejudice of their own colleagues who hasn't made the connections as yet. So we have to support the brave ones. Lissa Rankin, which another one, if you can go and look it up, is also a medical practitioner who has stopped practicing because she understood that what you can do with the mind is actually more valuable. And she originally said that she just could not stand this way of processing people like you're in a meat plant and giving. She couldn't do that anymore, so she stopped practicing. So there is the help out there, and spread. If you find somebody like that near you, support them, people. Support them because it's the future. Okay, so I hope you find somebody near you. Because remember, a lot of these people do Skype sessions. It's a really good thing. I know my homeopath, Dr. Rowan Bruni in Pietermaritzburg is fantastic, and I asked him, he does Skype sessions. So, Tashni, let us know if you do Skype sessions, please. Okay. All right, let's see what's Paul saying. We're able to unpack the issues, but, sorry. The person needs to learn the language and gain the insights into what's happening to me. It can't be done alone.
Yes, well said, Paul.
Yeah,
Spot
it's
on.
important to hear and learn. Big commitment required over a long time.
I agree 100%.
And what I do want to add here is that the more trauma you have, the longer commitment. But if you are going to spend time with somebody who's helping you for 3 months or 6 months, and you are emotionally free afterwards, because you normally don't need to do so much after 6 months. You start to wean yourself off and become more self-sufficient, and you generally start to just dip in for support. But the more you do this work right in the beginning with somebody's support, the faster you get to the other side, where you become self-sufficient, where you become aware enough, where, like Paul says, where you have a language and you have an understanding, and you can start self-regulating through these crises. Let's see the next one. I've never a long time. Oh, sorry. What do I do? Yeah, so Esther, yes, it's a good idea to do it. Learn as much as you can. Like Antoinette has been the example here. She said once she understood that she's done everything right, but she just knew. Did you read it, or did you just know it, Antoinette, that your cancer had a body-mind component, or was it from learning, or did you just know?
Oh, I mean, I was eating properly. I was organic diets, vegetarian, meditating, exercising. So I was like, so I don't know if I got it straight away, but I started, investigating or observing why I could have got it. And that's what somebody gave me a book on psychoneuroimmunology, and that's the medical science, the link between the body and the mind, and what happens in the chemistry of your body and your hormones when your thought patterns and the way you operate in the world is unbalanced. And I knew when I read that book, I knew. And I knew that's where my healing lay. And the interesting thing is, I started that journey to heal my cancer, but it ended up healing my life. I mean, it's still a work in progress, but so it's a holistic healing, actually, body, mind, and soul. And that's the other thing about the medical profession is, and the psychological profession, it doesn't all go together, Esther, what I would suggest, and as I did to you before, is have a few sessions with Louise, because Louise is not a doctor, but the thing is, when you work with someone like Louise, and I can only recommend Louise because I've never worked with someone who's done it for me in the way she has, no psychologist, nobody, is that Louise can very quickly drill down to what's going on, to create an awareness. She shines a light, and it's incredibly fast. I'm sure Paul or whoever's on here that's been to her will agree. And then comes up with practical tools and solutions you can start implementing straight away to reprogram your subconscious, to reparent yourself. And so people say they don't have time and they don't have money. And maybe it's only once you've done it and you've spent the time and the money, you can't not do it, actually, because the money ends up coming back to you, because the more balanced you become and the healthier you become mentally and physically, the more you can do everything. You can do your passion, your purpose, earn an income, whatever.
No, it's absolutely true. The cost to you, like for me, I was desperately unhappily married, and it was only this one thought that made me walk out, because I just couldn't walk out, and that's a whole long story. So I knew what I was doing to myself, I knew something in there without any scientific knowledge, nothing. I said to myself, I'm going to give myself cancer if I don't stop this right now. I'm going to kill myself if I don't start taking better care of myself.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, and I just had a knowledge. It was that knowledge that saved me. And I don't know where it came from, but it made me say, no, enough. I will not do this to myself anymore. And that was literally the words that I said to my husband. I said to him, no, we stop now. There's no more excuse. I will not do this to myself one more day. It was the thing that woke me up. And it's what you say. I became utterly useless at what I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't performing at my peak. I wasn't being the best me. I was just going through the motions. And it really, how much more would a divorce have cost? What's the cost of serious illness? What is the cost to your family life and to everybody around you if you don't fix yourself? Never mind to yourself. So the cost is huge.
And I think maybe the resistance of people to spend money on people or coaching is because so often the stuff you get doesn't really help you actually. And with you, Louise, the reason I do these lives and I talk about this stuff and I promote you is because it happens quite fast. It's not a miracle cure. I mean, it's 3.5 years and I'm still a work in progress. It's a long-term repetitive practice over time. It takes commitment. It takes big girl panties. But when I worked with you within 6 sessions, I had a very clear idea of what was going on and how to start working with it, which is huge. Some people never get that in a lifetime. You can't get there in multiple lifetimes sometimes, I think.
Yeah, you know what? We don't have blind spot mirrors. We have this stuff that we don't see. But also, Antoinette, I need to point this out for everybody that you worked with me for 6 weeks and then you stopped. And if you didn't stop, it wouldn't have taken you 3 years. Some stuff would have taken you 3 years, but not everything. And so that is a really important reason to know that I would say ideally it's 3 months to 6 months. And it doesn't all have to be one-on-ones because I have created all these online solutions in which people can do stuff differently. Where there is community support and I'm doing it in groups and it's cheap compared. I've got a vision board coming up next weekend for anybody who wants to. And it's a guided vision board with a lot of exercises. And it's $27 for a whole day of fun making a vision board, but also with exercises. So there's different ways of doing it. Just don't do it by yourself. Okay. Something's chronic, but root cause has not been addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so there is somebody agreeing.
Yeah, it's a process, so it takes time. Yeah.
It's a comment from Esther. Okay. Finding guitar is difficult. Oh, absolutely. I've been through it myself. So, really, Esther, the only thing that I would say is, there's a point where you don't do it by yourself. And that's the point where you don't do it by yourself is if the stuff you're dealing with is very traumatic, because then you need support. And I'm not saying all support is paid for. I'm saying get support, but don't get your normal circle of friends who don't understand about codependent behavior, but get a support group or somebody professional to help you through it. But deep emotional stuff, please don't do it by yourself. I mean, it's not going to show itself, most of it, except in your out of line behaviors, the stuff that's dysfunctional. That's where your deep traumas are going to show it. You're not going to wake up one morning and say, oh, I need to work on that deep trauma. You're going to notice it in your behavior. You're going to say, maybe I'm a little bit too angry and maybe I need to work on my anger. That's how it's going to show. And
I think sometimes we regress. If we don't get help, sometimes it becomes so overwhelming that we go backwards even maybe.
Okay, so anybody wants to know, Tashin does Skype sessions. I have to say my vacuum has irritated me too. Thanks, Tashin, for that. Okay, so this is going to be a nice one again, but it will do a newfound awareness of one's physical triggers. It's very scary to eventually understand one triggers. Yeah, it's scary. But it's so freeing. Isn't it so very freeing? Hold your line, keep your nerve dense to black.
Paul, you should write a book. You articulate this so beautifully.
Okay, all right. So let me use the example that Paul is referring to, which I always use in the groups, which is like this. So that's what he's referring to. When you start to make, you've got your old neural pathways, and so it's like this. Your head is a ski slope, and so your head is used to going boom down the ski slope. It's like there's the trigger, here's the reaction. The reaction is anger. So boom, down the ski slope. Now you learn to identify your triggers. And then what you have to do is you've got to start a new path. So the first time you use it, it's like there's all the snow there, and it's going to be really, really hard to go through the snow. And then if you don't keep on using your new pathway, it's going to snow over again. But if you keep on using the new pathway, it will go, boom. Okay, so now it's first like, okay, I'm just stopping the reaction. It's hard, and then I'm doing something different. Like I'm asking for support now. That's my new natural neural pathway. And then the third one is when you use a new one and you stop using the old one, then what happens is the old one gets snowed over. Okay, and so that's how you can think about it for yourself. So stop using the old path and keep on using the new one, and then the old one will eventually disappear and the new one will become your normal.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Okay, is there anything else here? I think it's nearly on bedtime already. All right, so Norma, no more. Okay, that's wonderful, Norma. Excellent to know. Okay. You know what, Esther? I want you to look at some of these group programs that I'm doing. Okay, because they are really, really affordable. And I've set them up specifically so that I can keep on helping people. You know, I've been doing group programs for 100% free for the last 12 years. 100% free group programs, and whoever walks through the door and whoever wanted help. And the only way in which I can scale this is if I go online and I do groups online, which is the way that I'm helping more people. But because I'm paying such a lot of attention to it now, there's a minimal fee. It's not a huge investment. It's enough. And I do like people actually investing in themselves. I want people to say, I am worth it and I'm going to put some money in it. So sometime I'll send you a link sometime, Esther, and then you can go and look and see. And I always advertise what I'm doing next on my profile. So just keep a lookout for that, because the stuff is really, really affordable if it's done in a group. And for everybody who's scared of groups, I want to say this. Don't be scared of groups. Groups are where you build community. Like, you see Paul here? So that's the kind of support that you get. That is the kind of knowledge that you get in a group. That is the kind of healing. Like, we have groups that are family. I have groups that are family because we have gone through it. And from me not doing groups at all, strictly one other person, I now have such a belief in the power of group. And another thing that happens in group is you can sit there and your mouth can be shut up. You don't have to say a single thing, but you can just listen to other people's stories. And when you listen to other people's stories, suddenly something becomes visible to you that you haven't seen. And you can then go and change it in your own life. And that's the power of groups. You don't get it from one-on-ones. No. So that's why I like one-on-ones and groups. And I'm going to keep on recommending this for anybody in future. Just do a few one-on-ones, but do all my group programs because it will keep you. And not in an expensive way. Okay. Antoinette, I think we must go. Okay. All right. So, okay, thanks. Okay, Antoinette, we'll chat later. Okay. Anybody, any questions left? Because I think we are going to go out now. Got a pie in the oven, which is going to call my attention in a minute now. And because it's supper time, it's actually way past supper time here. Right. No more questions. Okay, so we've had some amazing feedback tonight, Antoinette.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I know there's many more questions. And I know we've only just opened the door. And I actually know that when we get to the summit, a lot of this is going to be addressed. And it's going to be so awesome. So, and we're going to keep on talking about this kind of thing, are we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's so powerful, and it just opens so many possibilities where we didn't even know possibilities existed. So, all right, Antoinette, anything else from you? What do you want to say to people?
Well, good night, and thank you for sharing and being here. It's a privilege to engage with you, and thank you, Louise.
Oh, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much, guys. Remember, even if you're watching the replay, keep on commenting. And it is up, and it's up on YouTube too for the people who hate Facebook. There are those people. But thank you
And
all
we're
for coming.
only doing, sorry, just to say, we're only doing every 2 weeks now, me and you, Louise. And then you doing.
Yeah, I will have a surprise guest every second Tuesday, and you'll be doing, yeah, so, but me and you will meet in 2 weeks' time, and next week I'll have a surprise guest. It's a little bit of a surprise to me still. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, the slippy
Good
finger.
night, everybody.
Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for staying and commenting. Lots of love to all of you. Bye-bye, Antoinette.